Next stop on the Shakedown Express, good old BlackRock. Yeah, Zelensky getting in bed with the globalist regime over there at the shadowy figures, pulling all the strings, buying up all the real estate in the middle of the country. Good old BlackRock. You knew this was coming at some point in time, okay? I just didn't think that they'd make a gigantic press release about this. Hey guys, this is a good opportunity to rehab our image. We'll just go ahead and get in bed with a multi-billion-dollar money laundering scheme over there in Ukraine. This sounds like a great idea. Whew, you better fire your PR team over BlackRock. But Zelensky and BlackRock announce a new investment initiative to rebuild Ukraine. Yeah, because their other old investment initiative ended up descending into bankruptcy because it was ran by a bunch of methamphetamine addicts peddling Dogecoin. Sucks to suck. Anyways, global asset manager BlackRock. Yeah, nothing sounds... You couldn't have picked a worse business partner. Like, Christ almighty, who are you going to put in charge of this project? Dick fucking Cheney? Like, Christ almighty. But yes, BlackRock will coordinate investments in rebuilding Ukraine's economy. Well, I guess somebody has to manage all of the money, the $130 billion that the United States alone have sent over. Like, how much money in total has Ukraine received from around the world? I'd like a full tally of this stuff. Still only a drop in the bucket as to how much money ultimately BlackRock manages in total. Like, this is both of these entities in totality, they control a not insignificant portion of the world's wealth. Following a meeting between President Volodymyr Zelensky and BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, the government confirmed that the Wall Street titan agreed to coordinate the efforts. Yes, we're here to help with the war efforts of all political investors and participants in the reconstruction of our country. Oh, it's our country now. Oh, okay, cool. So what, is going to be Ukraine brought to you by BlackRock? Okay, they're getting the sponsorship deal. They're getting the naming rights on a country. Okay, as a result of the agreement, BlackRock will channel capital into multiple sectors in the Eastern European country's economy. Why do they need that? Don't they have a finance minister? But no, man, we just need an NGO to oversee everything. I've seen some reports out there that only a certain percentage of the money that is being sent over to Ukraine actually gets to the front lines. Something along the lines of, what would you guys think is an acceptable portion that gets over there? 80, 90%, something like that, right? Okay. Now, it's not too dissimilar to the percentage of money that actually makes it to starving Africans from the Bono charity. It's 30% that ends up getting to the front lines in Ukraine. I can't back that up. I haven't seen the numbers confirmed. That's just what I've heard out there in the ether, but it's also not out of the realm of possibilities, so I put a little bit of credence in that, just a bit, okay? Since the initial meeting between Zelensky and Fink in September, oh, okay, discussing the transfer of public and private investments into Kiev, the two sides... Really? And yet Zelensky was still out there rattling his fucking cup with the coin in it, okay, around in order to collect donations. Well, it's that time of year to give. Fucking guy. Oh yes, but he's been working on comprehensive project advising the government on how to structure the nation's reconstruction funds. Yeah, bro, you're still fighting a war, allegedly, okay? In November, the Ukrainian Ministry of Economy, the MOE, and BlackRock Financial Market Advisory, FMA, signed a memorandum confirming the plan. BlackRock FMA will advise the MOE on establishing a roadmap for the investment framework implementation. Wow, that's a bunch of fucking business jargon. Okay. Well, these guys are going to confirm a roadmap, and they're going to advise these other things, so we're going to connect on this later, including identifying design choices for the envisioned setup, structure, mandate, and governance, the $8 trillion asset manager said in a statement last month. Yeah, that's how much money BlackRock manages, at least the stuff that they're going to make public for you to understand. This comes a week after Zelensky visited Washington, about 2 weeks at time of publication, to meet with the president. The House approved $45 billion aid package to go on top of the previous billions of dollars already sent over. I'm pretty sure it's a total of $130 billion, but maybe by the time that this video gets released, Mitch McConnell will be, we need to support Ukraine a little bit more, send over another billion. In his speech, the Ukrainian leader thanked the American people for their money, calling it investment rather than charity. Actually, he didn't thank anybody. He's just like, yes, we got the money and now we'll put it to good use and you need to do more for us. Remember, guys, America first, very evil, very racist, very, very racist. But Ukraine first, Ukraine number one. Fly our flag inside your capital. Not insurrection at all. Your money is not charity because it's not tax deductible. It is investment in global security and democracy that we will handle in most responsible way. Get fucked, bro. What's your definition of responsibility? I'm just wondering. But to be fair, I don't even know who's left in Ukraine to hold this guy accountable. Take a look at this. Zelensky increases censorship on news and the media in democratic Ukraine. That earlier in March, actually, of 2022, he banned all political opposition. Hilarious, huh? He's the good guy, though. Who's this bitch? I don't know who you are. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and that is a crazy Tucker face. Normally you got the face. But holy, signed a bill on Thursday and branded his government's control over the media, expanding state-sponsored regulations over news disseminated in print and online. New York Times reports, Mr. Zelensky, in an act of overabundant caution, decided to... whose administration has been accused of undermining press freedom in recent years. He's been accused of it, but nothing confirmed. Ordered the drafting of a law increasing media regulation in 2019, 3 years before Russian President Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. Yeah, wonder how long he's actually been planning to act on all this stuff. He's a good guy, though. The 279-page bill, wow, actually something manageable, gives the National Council of Television and Radio Broadcasting, Ukraine's state-sponsored censorship organization, whose members are appointed by the President and Parliament of Ukraine, which is all controlled by Zelensky and his party, increased power to regulate news, media, both online and in print. I wonder if this is just a temporary wartime measure, like income tax. During the joint press conference with Zelensky and Joe Biden on December 21st, Biden said the United States would support Ukraine as long as it takes, because we understand in our bones. My bones hurt. I'm old. I wonder what Corn Pop thinks. The American people know that if we stand in the face of such blatant attacks on liberty and democracy and the core principles of sovereignty and territory, who wrote all this stuff for me, man? The United States has given approximately $92 billion in aid to Ukraine, and Biden had pledged another $45 billion. There you go. So for a grand total of $137 billion and counting. Censorship law went through various drafts since a 2019 introduction, and previous versions gave the regulator the power regulators to fine news media outlets, revoke their licenses, temporarily block certain online outlets without a court order, and request that social media platforms and search giants like Google remove content that violates the law. In November, Ukraine's parliament passed the legislation with a number of additional bills. All right, many of those pieces of legislation were introduced and passed as a measure to bring Ukraine closer to the standards set in the admission into the European Union. And then they're like, no, we don't want to, take responsibility for you yet. You should probably figure out what you're doing with Russia first. And same with NATO. This is another one of those, don't call us, we'll call you. The deputy chair of Parliament's Information Policy Committee, Yevgeny Kravchuk, said, of course, this bill is even broader than the EU directive because we needed a change and modernize our media legislation, which has not been changed for 16 years. It's about time, see? That's why we've been drafting this for so long and chose until now to figure out how we crack down on the media. It's reporting things. They're saying we should probably wrap this shit up instead of senselessly killing ourselves and forcing everybody out of our country. Why don't you fucking figure stuff out instead of wandering around Earth trying to fucking fundraise and get in bed with creepy BlackRock company? What the fuck you guys doing? Oksana Romanuk, okay, the executive director of Kiev-based Institute of Mass Information. That sounds like a trustworthy place. To improve, we need to introduce amendments to the Constitution, which is unfortunately not possible during the martial law. Sorry, what? Ukraine's still under martial law, huh? Interesting. It is one of our main plans in future. We'll get around to it when we get around to it. Shut the fuck up. Nonprofit Committee to Protect Journalists said the bill increases government control over the information at a time when citizens need it the most. Hey, guess what? The fucking government's going to decide what you need most. You shut the fuck up. On Friday, the General Secretary of the European Federation of Journalists, Ricardo Gutierrez, said Ukraine will demonstrate its European commitment by promoting a free and independent media, not by establishing state control of information. What? Can't hear you. Got too much money stuffed in my ears. Blah, 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 blah. I will tell the people what I want them to hear. Man, 2023 is going to be a make or break year for either the American people or the Ukrainian people. But if the military industrial complex money machine go burr, well, I think you know who's going to end up on the winning side of that. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.